All right, so today we are going to be going deep into real estate,
Okay.
but not just any part of it. We're going to be talking about the architectural and design planning phase.
Right.
And we're using an episode from the Property Playbook as our source material.
Okay.
And it's called Architectural and Design Planning.
Nice.
Pretty straightforward, but they had some really good advice in there. And,
Yeah.
it was interesting to learn that design can actually save you time and money and stress later on if you do it right.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of our mission for today, is to figure out how to do that right.
That's a good mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what really stood out to you from this episode?
Well, one thing I thought was really interesting was that they emphasized that design isn't just about aesthetics,
Right.
It's about creating spaces that are not only beautiful, but also, make smart financial sense.
Yeah. They kept on hammering in that creating a solid design plan is like the DNA of a property.
Yeah.
Like it really dictates its value, how well it functions, and how efficient it can be.
Right. And that's true whether you're trying to sell or rent or even just live in it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Getting that design right from the beginning is crucial.
Absolutely. And they had some interesting points about like specific design elements
Yeah.
that can really make or break a property's value.
Yeah, like layout efficiency.
Right.
They talked a lot about that.
Like open concept layouts are really popular right now, but they said don't go too crazy with it.
Yeah, you need balance. You need some defined spaces too.
It's got to be like Goldilocks,
Yeah.
not too open, not too closed.
Exactly.
Just right. And, I thought it was interesting what they said about wasted space. It's a value killer. Like every square foot really counts.
It does. It's about, creating a flow where every area has its purpose, but it all works together.
Right, right. And what about natural light and ventilation?
Oh, that's a good one.
They talked about that.
Yeah, they did.
They were saying, well-lit spaces can feel much larger and more inviting.
Right.
Almost like they have a better mood.
Yeah. They even mentioned skylights as a good solution for areas that maybe don't have traditional windows.
What do you think about skylights? Did they actually live up to the hype?
Well, hallways or bathrooms or spaces like that.
Right.
But the placement is super important,
Yeah.
You don't want it turning into like this giant magnifying glass,
Right.
Blasting heat and glare into a room. And of course, like with anything that goes on your roof,
Right.
you got to make sure it's installed properly so you don't get leaks and stuff.
So, yes, skylights. Yes, but be careful.
Right. Plan it out carefully.
Okay. So moving on, they also talk about materials.
Okay.
Specifically how to balance cost and quality.
Yeah, that's always a tough one.
They had this great example about quartz versus marble countertops.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
So apparently quartz can give you that high-end marble look, but it's way cheaper.
Oh, wow.
And not only that, it's more durable and it needs less maintenance.
That's a huge plus.
I know, right? Choosing quartz over marble could literally save you thousands in renovation costs.
Wow. That's amazing. And it's not just countertops, right?
No, it's everything: flooring, wall, finishes, fixtures.
It all adds up.
It really does. And it sounds like being smart about the materials you choose can really impact your budget in the long run.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the properties of different materials and making choices that make sense for your budget and the style you're going for.
Right. And that kind of leads into another interesting concept. They talk about future-proofing your design.
Oh, yeah, like planning for the future.
Yeah, like anticipating future trends and needs. They were specifically talking about home offices and smart home technology. Are those actually important these days?
Oh, they're huge. The pandemic really changed things. So many people are working from home now.
Right.
A home office is practically a must-have.
So even if the people living there now don't need a home office, it's still a good idea to include one.
Exactly. It just makes the property more valuable and flexible.
It's like building in that adaptability from the beginning.
Yeah, and they made a good point about smart home technology being a big selling point now.
Yeah, things like smart thermostats and lighting controls and security systems.
Exactly. It's all about convenience and efficiency and being connected,
Yeah, people want homes that make their lives easier. Smart home features can definitely do that.
For sure, they can make things more comfortable, save energy, and give people peace of mind.
Okay, so we've talked about layout efficiency, natural light, choosing the right materials, future proofing.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But there's one more big thing we need to talk about: curb appeal.
Oh, yeah, first impressions.
Exactly. They were saying the first impressions are everything.
They are.
You got to have a stylish entryway, nice landscaping, an inviting facade.
It's like putting your best foot forward.
Yeah. Do you think curb appeal is really that important?
It's essential. Think of it like this curb appeal is the first handshake.
I like it.
It sets the tone for the whole experience. If
Oh.
the outside looks bad, people might not even bother coming inside.
Right, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly. So spending some money on landscaping, a fresh coat of paint, maybe some nice outdoor lighting can make a huge difference.
It shows that you care about the property.
It does. It tells potential buyers or renters that this place has been well maintained.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Key design considerations, first impressions, future needs. But what about the process of actually working with architects and designers,
Right. That can be kind of intimidating.
especially for someone who's new to real estate?
Yeah, but this podcast had some really good advice for navigating that process and making sure it goes smoothly.
Oh, good.
Yeah, one thing they really stressed was defining your vision early on.
So it's not enough to just say, I want a nice house.
No, you got to get specific, you know?
Okay.
Like gather inspiration, create mood boards, look at real estate listings, whatever helps you get your ideas across to the design team.
The more specific you are, the better they can understand your vision.
Exactly.
It's like giving them a roadmap.
Yeah. And they also said it's really important to be upfront about your budget.
That makes sense.
Be honest about what you can afford. And a good architect will work with you to create something amazing within your budget.
Right, they can help you prioritize and suggest different options.
Exact.
So it's all about being collaborative and realistic.
Yeah. And speaking of collaboration, they also emphasized clear communication throughout the whole process.
Yeah, you got to talk to each other.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Make sure you understand things and let them know if you have any concerns.
A good architect should be happy to explain things to you.
They should. It's a partnership.
And lastly, they talked about trusting the process.
Right.
Designs change, and what looks good on paper might not work in real life.
That's true. You got to be flexible. Be open to suggestions.
Because sometimes the best ideas come from unexpected places.
Yeah, it's a creative process.
So it sounds like you need a vision, but you also need to be open to collaboration and trust the experts.
It's a balance.
Okay, so we've laid a good foundation here, talking about design considerations, first impressions, and working with architects and designers.
Yeah, it's been a good overview.
But we're just getting started.
Oh, really?
There's one more big piece of the puzzle. We got to talk about energy efficiency.
Okay.
And it's not just a trendy buzzword anymore.
I'm intrigued. Let's hear it. So energy efficiency.
Yeah, it's like not even an option anymore.
Certainly must have.
It really is. The podcast was saying that it's practically an expectation for buyers and renters these days.
Right, and it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
people are more aware of their environmental impact, and they're willing to pay more for a home that's energy efficient.
Yeah, and it's not just about being eco-conscious, it's also about saving money.
Oh, absolutely.
Like energy-efficient homes cost less to run.
Exactly. In the long run, it's a huge financial advantage.
The podcast went into a lot of detail about things like insulation and windows. They were saying how crucial those are. Like, I always knew insulation was important, but they really made me realize just how much of a difference double or triple pane windows can make.
Oh, yeah, it's a big difference.
It's like wrapping your house in a blanket.
It is. It keeps all that heat in.
I also thought it was interesting what they said about passive design strategies.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Like working with the natural elements to make your home more energy efficient.
Right. Like using the sun to your advantage.
Yeah, they talked about orienting the building to maximize solar gain in the winter
So smart.
so you can reduce your heating costs.
Exactly.
It's like the sun is doing the work for you.
It is.
So it's not just about adding solar panels after the fact,
No, it's about thinking about energy efficiency from the very beginning.
from the ground up.
Exactly.
They also talked about natural ventilation as a way to reduce the need for air conditioning.
Oh, yeah. Using windows and breezes to keep things cool.
It seems so simple, but I think we forget about it sometimes.
We do. We rely too much on AC.
Yeah, they were talking about things like having windows on opposite sides of a room to create a cross breeze.
Yeah, or using ceiling fans to circulate the air.
It's like nature's air conditioning.
It is, and it's free.
And of course, we can't forget about solar panels.
Right. They're becoming more and more common.
They really are.
The podcast made a good point about designing your roof with solar in mind, even if you're not planning on installing it right away.
Yeah, it's much easier to do it that way than to try and retrofit it later.
It's all about planning ahead.
And they also talk about efficient HVAC systems.
Yeah, things like smart thermostats and high-efficiency heating and cooling units.
Are those really as good as they say they are?
They are. Your HVAC system is like the heart and lungs of your home.
Okay.
It controls the temperature and the airflow, so if you have a high-efficiency system, it's like giving your home a health upgrade.
So you save energy and money.
Exactly.
And what about smart thermostats? I've heard a lot about those,
Mhm.
but I don't really understand how they work.
Well, they're basically the brains of your HVAC system. They learn your preferences and adjust the temperature accordingly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you can control them from your phone even when you're not home
So you could come home to a perfectly temperature-controlled house.
without wasting energy all day.
That's amazing.
It's a pretty cool technology.
The last thing they talked about was sustainable materials.
Oh, yeah.
Things like bamboo flooring, reclaimed wood, recycled glass countertops.
Yeah, they're becoming really popular.
Are they just a trend, or are there actual benefits to using them?
Oh, there are definitely benefits. I mean, first of all, they're good for the environment,
Right.
but they're also really durable and they look great.
They were saying bamboo is a great alternative to hardwood flooring.
It is. It's super strong and moisture resistant.
And I love the idea of using reclaimed wood.
Yeah, it adds so much character.
It has a story to tell.
It does, and it's often more durable than new wood.
And what about those recycled glass countertops?
They're awesome. They're made from recycled glass that would have ended up in a landfill.
And they're durable and easy to clean.
They are. They're non-porous and stain-resistant.
It's amazing how something as simple as choosing a countertop can make a difference for the environment.
It really is. Every little bit helps.
It's like you could have a beautiful and functional space that's also eco-friendly.
Exactly. You don't have to sacrifice style for sustainability.
This has been really eye-opening,
It has been.
We've talked about so much layout efficiency, natural light, energy efficiency, sustainable materials.
It's clear that design is about so much more than just making things look pretty.
It really is. It's about creating spaces that work well, are energy efficient, and are good for the planet.
I completely agree. It's about designing for a better future.
Okay, so we've really gone deep into this whole world of architectural and design planning, right?
We have. It's been quite a journey.
We talked about everything from maximizing value with smart design to using energy efficiency and sustainable materials.
It's like we've put together this giant puzzle.
Exactly. And now we can see the big picture.
Right. And the podcast really hammered home that point, that it's not just about creating a pretty property.
Whoa.
It's about creating a space that really works for people.
That functions well. That's
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
And that takes care of the planet.
It's all about finding that balance between beauty, functionality, and sustainability.
Yeah. And they really stress the importance of planning everything out carefully in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
I know it's tempting to just jump into the fun stuff.
It is, but if you take the time to get the details right during the design phase,
Right.
you'll save yourself so much trouble and money later on.
It's like laying a strong foundation.
It is. If the foundation is weak, the whole thing can crumble.
Exactly. And they also talked about communication and collaboration,
Yeah.
working with your architect and designers.
Right. It's a team effort.
It is. You can't just hire someone and expect them to read your mind.
No, you got to talk to each other. You got to share your vision, ask questions, and be open to suggestions.
The best designs come from when everyone works together,
Absolutely. It's a partnership.
And even with the best planning, things don't always go exactly as planned, right?
That's true. You got to be flexible.
Yeah.
Things change. New ideas come up. Budgets might shift. You got to be able to adapt.
And sometimes the best ideas come from those unexpected changes.
They do. I was thinking as I was listening to this podcast, and even now talking about it with you,
Yeah.
that these design principles, they apply to way more than just real estate.
Oh, totally.
Like, think about layout efficiency, natural light sustainability.
Yeah.
Those are important in any space.
Whether it's a home, an office, a store, even a park.
Exactly.
What if we applied these principles to our everyday lives?
That's a good question.
Like, how can we create better spaces in our homes, our workplaces, our communities?
More functional, more efficient, more sustainable.
What if we brought more natural light into offices?
People would be happier and more productive.
I think so, too. Or what if we redesigned our homes to make them flow better and reduce wasted space?
Imagine cities designed for walkability and green spaces,
Yeah.
using passive design to save energy and sustainable materials to protect the environment.
And workplaces that prioritize natural light and ergonomics and collaboration.
It's about shifting our mindset, realizing that design isn't just about aesthetics.
It's about creating spaces that make our lives better.
Exactly. And that help us create a more sustainable future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
How can you apply these design principles to your own life?
Good question.
How can you create spaces that are beautiful and functional and sustainable?
Whether it's at home, at work, or in your community,
It's something to think about.
design is a powerful tool.
Use it wisely,
Mm-hmm.
use it creatively, and use it to make a positive impact.
Well said.
That's it for our deep dive into architectural and design planning.
We covered a lot of ground.
We learned a lot about how to create spaces that are not just beautiful, but also functional, efficient, and sustainable.
It's all about designing for a better future,
And remembering that these principles can be applied to any space.
anywhere and everywhere.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep designing.
See you next time.